buzz and buzzes, voices cut the silence. Truth ain't taking pauses. We the people Wednesday, speak loud, speak clear. Screech owls calling, red's got your ear.
We the People Wednesday will begin in just a few short minutes, folks. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you still have time to jump over to the VIP Backstage Lounge at rippandrabbithole.com. If you are listening on demand, go ahead and fast forward to about the 3-minute mark and you will jump into tonight's live show. Stay tuned, folks. Show starts soon.
Headlights chasing dreams. The rip on rabbit hole ain't as crazy as it seems. Ain't no polished lines, just hearts and fire. We the people Wednesday, speak loud, speak clear. Screech owls calling, red's got your ear.
Rippin' Rabbit Hole is a community-driven radio. At times the community comments may reveal prejudices and other beliefs that we or our sponsors do not condone. Views or opinions expressed by the community, callers, or guests are those of the individual speaking and do not represent the views or opinions of this site. Rippin' Common Sense content is intended for mature audiences only. Enjoy.
Chasing dreams, the rip on rabbit hole ain't as crazy as it seems. Ain't no polished lines, just hearts and fire. We the people Wednesday, shout what's real. Screech owls watching, red's got the wheel. Eyes wave in the static air.
Good evening and welcome to We the People Wednesday. It is Wednesday, July 29th, 2026. I am Screech Owl Scott.
And I am Red.
And we want to thank you, our co-host, for joining us right here on Rippin' Common Sense Radio, where your voice will be heard around the world as we discuss hot topics, recent news, and new developments. If you've dialed up We the People Wednesday, congratulations. You can now declare yourself one of the We the People people. If you're listening on Rumble or YouTube, please give We the People a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so that you will receive notifications each and every time we go live. If you want to be a part of the conversation, jump on over to the rippandrabbithole.com. Click on the 24/7 lounge in the taskbar. Scroll down until you see the backstage. Click on that big red Enter Now button. Allow the permissives and join the fun. The backstage lounge is free and always will be. It's a great place to meet new friends and talk about anything that you want to. And we can speak from experience when we say that you will often find We the People people deep into the early AM hours. That is rippandrabbithole.com. rippandrabbithole.com. There are just a very few simple rules. Please remain respectful to others at all times. And if there's something you want to say and be a part of the conversation, please raise your hand. But most of all, have fun because this is a show for We the People. And Red, I think you put the links into the chats on YouTube and Rumble, correct?
Yes, I did.
So, folks, if you are listening on either of those two platforms, we do keep an eye on the chat, but they do lag behind a little bit sometimes longer than other nights. But if you want to be a part of the live conversation, the best place to listen to the show is in the VIP Backstage Lounge, where we have a few people tonight. We've got a light crowd tonight. We got Catherine B., the People's Governor, and RJ, who we just spent the entire day with. Red.
Absolutely.
What a day for us. Folks, we just literally walked in the door.
We almost thought we were going to have to do the show on the...
It almost came to that, Red, but...
I literally just sat down next to you about 2 seconds ago.
So, folks, you heard me talk last week, or us talk last week, about Steve Rzuski, who's running in the 37th Assembly District. to unseat the incumbent, Bourne, and uh, we put out the plea for help. And today, Red and I and RJ and Steve was there, and we went
Hmm.
and knocked a bunch of
Well,
doors.
and then in the morning when we first got there,
Saw
Bill
our
Savage was
friend
there
Bill
as well.
Savage from the Wisconsin Chronicle or the
Conservative Digest.
Conservative Digest.
Yep.
We ran into Bill this morning,
Yep.
and before we started knocking doors, and we went out and the old people, Brad, the old people, the 60 plus. Well, you were the baby of the group
Yeah, I'm the baby.
in
Well,
your
I don't know how
in
old
your mid
Steve is.
50s, but
How old is
well, I'm
Steve?
talking about the helpers, not the candidate.
Okay.
We had a couple plus 60s,
Yeah.
the mid 60s
And you
side
know
of
what's
things, and
really
we went out
bad
and
is when the baby of the group is the one that pittered out first
and we went
because of
out
my
and
back.
hit a lot of doors. I think we were almost 300 doors,
Yep.
talking to people in Lamira this afternoon, and a nice warm welcome from the people at. It was daytime, so a lot of people are at work.
Hmm.
We weren't able to make contact with people, but we got the literature in their hand, and Steve put together a great one-piece flyer. And folks, maybe next week I'll put it up there because I think it's important
Oh,
to
absolutely.
show,
That
and it
was
really showed
pretty
the
important.
budget side of things. And
And we actually ran out of flyers at first because we hit that many doors, and we're like, okay, we need more um, copies of this. So we go to Quick Trip because that's where it said, hey, here you can make copies. Get there, nope, they don't have copies. They said go across the street, Piggly Wiggly. So I did, and I went in and asked them, can I get some copies? And they said, well, absolutely. I said, how many, can I get? Is there a limit? And she goes, oh no, there's no limit. And then she's like, "Oh, I got to find out how much to charge and how to ring it up and whatever." So she calls somebody, and then she goes, "Oh," and she was asking how many um she can get. And so she asked me, "Well, how many do you want?" And I said, "Well, 200." She goes, "Oh my gosh, no, you can't get that many. You can get 25." I'm like, "Well, so there is a limit." So I'm like, "All right, fine, I'll take 25." And I texted Scott and uh, RJ and said, "Hey, I can only get 25." Scott says, "Yeah, I get 25."
Screech said that.
Sorry, Screech did. And I come outside and Roxanne or RJ was about ready to go in, and I'm like, "What's going on?" She goes, "You can only get 25?" Well, gee, I can get 25 too. So she went in and got 25.
And then Screech went in and got 25 more. And when I went in, the young lady behind the counter, she said, "All right, tell me how many people are in your group." Because we were bound and determined to have enough of these flyers for the rest of the day. And we ended up going to the library and getting another 100.
Yep. So we
Uh,
had 175 extra on top of, I don't even know how
what they
many.
had given us.
Yeah, I don't
And
know how many we got, but
we
we went through them all.
we hit a lot of doors for a great candidate. Steve is
Absolutely.
the right choice in the 37th Assembly District, folks. And uh,
And we also kind of slipped in another candidate. So hopefully, I,
but
I won't say who that is, but
it,
we just kind of slipped an extra little piece in there.
the bottom line is we made a lot of contact with a lot of people,
Hmm.
and Steve is the right man for the job in the 37th, and we have to unseat this incumbent. We truly do.
Absolutely.
Uh, he's
Because,
not good for Wisconsin, and
well, that one sheet was talking about how much the spending has gone up, the budget,
the annual budget from
and how much the incumbent in that or area is
get
allowing and helping.
get this get this one, folks. The piece of literature that Steve had, the state budget in 2010 was $65 billion, and today we're almost 115 billion. It's crazy. It's
In
crazy where we're
six,
at,
what did
and
you
we
say it was 2010?
2010 to
Wow.
2026.
So
In
in
16
16
years, it
years.
went up to 115 billion, or just shy, just south of 115 billion, and that's why we have to address uh, Madison.
Not to mention, Steve pointed out to us before we left that if anybody happens to ask about data centers, the one in West Bend, I live about a quarter mile from
Three
there.
three quarters of a mile,
Oh,
he
three
said.
quarters. Okay, my bad. So 3/4 of a mile. Well, either way, a less than a mile. And what I found very, very disturbing on the way there, we were just before Random Lake, and all of a sudden, in this beautiful cornfield, you see a bunch of solar panels. I should have uploaded that video. Oh
Prime
my gosh.
prime agricultural land, and this went on for miles, folks. Solar farms,
Well, I
and
turned on the video camera the first time and it was like a minute long, and then it took a little bit of a break, and I took the video camera again, and that was another 2.5 minutes.
both sides of the county highway that we were on, and it went on for miles.
I could not
And
believe how, and I said in the video, this is how they're kind of trying to hide it behind the corn, which technically you're not hiding it because you can definitely see it.
they they
But
had they
you
had
had the
they,
corn
they
around
had
it.
10 rows of corn around the perimeter of this solar farm, and
And then
uh,
when we went for lunch, um, where we went for lunch, on one side of it's a four-way intersection. On one side of the intersection, I don't even know how far down that one row went with solar panels. It's a huge solar panel field. And then across the street on the other side, I could see how far down that went. And well, technically I didn't because we didn't drive all the way down there, but two huge fields, no agriculture at all, nothing on the ground but a solar panel. And then we also seen
the wind
the wind
turbines
turbines.
just north of there.
I'm
It,
like, what
it's
in the heck?
it's crazy, and
It's
you know
disturbing
it really is, and
because all that beautiful farmland and it's
gone.
a
It,
waste,
it's gone,
complete
and
waste.
we're not necessarily opposed to using solar energy, Red.
Well,
But there are
no,
places they
but
can put it. They could put it
correct,
over parking lots.
correct.
They can put
Yep.
it covering, the asphalt that we have all over this, in the cities.
Oops. Sorry about that. They missed us
Uh,
today.
in any event, Red, we had a busy day, and now we can sit back. We've made it home barely.
Barely.
But tonight I want to talk about it. It's been a mess, and I'll tell you what, people have come after me and us a little
Yep.
bit,
Us. Yep.
because they claim, that people will suggest that we're in
Trying
this
to
to divide
divide the
divide the party, and
party.
and put Democrats in seats, and that's anything but true. You and I, Red, we're trying to, uh,
Get the right people.
we want transparency. We want open and honest. We want
Yep.
what Hot wants, right?
Exactly.
And
Absolutely.
and we want to hold people accountable when they're
Well, how do you fix things if you keep electing the same people over and over and over and they're part of the problem?
eh,
We're trying to get great conservative candidates in there that actually will do the job and people that we've known over the last 6 years plus. And, they have not wavered one bit on any of these stances. And it's time for them to get in. So, how do you get them in when you got these corrupt people going against you? And they're getting tons of money poured into their campaign, whereas the grassroots people like us, we're doing it,
I
you
don't
know,
even Red,
time, talent, treasure, whatever we do.
I don't even want to call it grassroots anymore, because
No,
they've hijacked the
yeah,
terms that we
you're
they
right. You're right.
hijacked
You know,
grassroots. They're trying to hijack patriots and we the people.
they've
I don't know what we're
hijacked
calling
every
ourselves.
term
Uh,
because they know they can't go on their own terms. So they have
but
to steal ours.
so Red, we've been attacked by some people who make the suggestion that we're trying to divide the party.
Yep.
And
Yep.
this comes down to we have to look deep within our own party.
Yep. I see a hand up already. Go ahead, Mr. Tim Rantham.
I'm sorry to jump in, but you're striking a nerve with that statement, Scott. I think it's total crap for anybody on the Republican side of the fence to think that we can't have civil discussion amongst multiple people running for a position so that the message and the character of the person earns the vote. They want to orchestrate things and monopolize it so that they can put their preferred people in. I read an article this morning about the Democrat debate that occurred last evening, which I did not watch. But what I found interesting in the article by the Urinal Sentinel was it spoke about how all of them addressed the questions, and it was run well, and everything was civil, and it was good. It was a positive experience that was presented, apparently, at least from the Urinal Sentinel's perspective. And I have to say that because the Republican side doesn't do that. They want to have their one person be the only person that we're supposed to choose from, which is not a choice. And it's not just one race, by the way. It's like all over the place at the legislative level as well as constitutional offices. So, Scott, when you say that statement about being attacked for dividing the party, what divides the party is the attack, not your actions being taken. And I just wanted to make that statement. Thanks for allowing me to speak.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And Tim, I love it when you chime in, and I hope that you will continue to. And I think you, of all people who are listening tonight, Tim, you were in Madison. You were the subject of some of these attacks that we're going to talk about tonight.
I was going to say, you
And
were
you can
attacked
speak
volumes.
volumes about what is taking place. And that's one of the things that I want to talk about tonight is, so folks, to recap it, back in 24, we had a little over 20 good conservative candidates
Yep.
who are running for offices from state assembly to state senate to uh,
Whatever position.
right, several positions.
Mhm.
And there was a group called the Stronger Wisconsin Fund
Right. I remember that.
who put out hit pieces on candidates, including
And
Mr. Rampton.
actually, Mr. Rantham got the most
Yeah, I think they
attack
spent
on.
it was like about $124,000 that the Stronger Wisconsin Fund spent on hit pieces put out against Tim Rampton
And I believe,
in
and
his
correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, was it 3 mailers they sent out against you or 4?
Well, more than one is too many, especially when you lie.
Exactly.
Of the $450,000 in seed money, 29% was spent on me, just on me. 29% of it, a third of the 450.
And
That's the answer to
what
your.
does that tell people
and,
when they attack you like that? What does that tell people?
and
Tim Rantham is the guy, and he's the one that's going to get it done. That's why they did not want him in there, and that's why they had to attack him.
and it was lies. The propaganda that
Absolutely.
was put out against these candidates was lies. I mean, whether it was Tim not being in the building and it
Being,
collecting his per diem, or
or voting
li-
on
or
a Tim, go ahead and tell me what one. I know what it was, but I can't get it out.
oh, the grannies bill.
Yeah,
The,
the
the,
AGR 107 was the bail reform resolution by Cindy Duco. I was in the building that day. It was February 15th. This is 3 days after I announced for governor. And I'm in the building, and they didn't even tell my office that there was a floor session called for 1 o'clock. So I went down to the rally at the Capitol to talk about AGR 120, which was my resolution to reclaim electors. And I'm in the building, and this event by Jefferson's Davis started at noon. And I hung around to talk to people because I had just announced for governor. Media was there and they wanted to see me. So I didn't go bolting out as soon as I said a few words to the people. And I didn't even know there was a floor session going on. And I was told by a Democrat, John Bostroff, by the way, texted me and said, "Hey, where are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm in the rotunda. Where are you?" I thought he was messing with me. He says, "Well, we're on the floor. We're about to vote on a bill. You should be here." And I'm like, when did they call a floor session? So they didn't want me there. They
Right.
didn't want me there because they wanted to have me as an NV, no vote, on the LED printout for that vote. So they could say that I'm soft on crime and I don't back bail reform because they were gearing up a hit piece as running for governor to use against the governor. But that all changed when Michael's vowed to spend $50 million and got the Trump endorsement and bought the nomination. So they didn't have to use it, but they pulled it from 2022 to use in 2024. And it was all crap because I was in the building and then I ran in and I ran to the clerk and I said, "Please put me down as a yes for this resolution." So I'm in the journal, but I'm not in the LED display, and it makes it look like I'm not there, but I was. If you look further and see the actual log of the vote process, I'm in there as a yes, and then it was unanimously consented to, and then it was moved to the Senate for concurrence. So I did vote for that, but they claimed I didn't, and it was all a lie. So
So
thank you for asking.
and Tim said it. It's crap,
Hmm.
and it was lies, And unfortunately, what happens when these mailers go out to homes, people read them and they say, "Look at Tim Rampton is soft on crime," and they don't dig any deeper. They don't look to find out
They're too
did
lazy.
Tim cast a vote on
They're
that,
too lazy to find
and
out the truth. Is
it's
it
crap. And
whether that would have been true or not? They don't dig on it to find out.
Well,
Oh yeah, it is
well,
true, or no, it's not.
one more qualifying comment for your
Mhm.
guys' the discussion here is uh, days before this happened, with the hit pieces coming out on me in 2024, a poll was run by my competitor, um, the grifter, money fleecer, Senator Dan Fine, ran a poll. I was up 3 to 5 points on him, and he panicked. So then the approval for the hit pieces came out. So I went +5 to -31 in 3 weeks. So the effect of the hit pieces, to your point about people seeing this crap and believing it carte blanche without asking or wondering or questioning or realizing that they're being played, by the way, and that's the thing. Everybody gets played, they get used, they want to cloud your judgment on purpose because they want to maintain the status quo with the puppet, right? So they got their puppet. And I went from +5 to -30. That's a 36% swing in 3 weeks. It works, and that's why they do it.
And they do it right before, like, what was it, like 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before the election?
enough time that it's hard to,
Combat it.
yes,
You to get
get
your own
to
mailer out.
get it out to 180,000, nearly 180,000 people in the case of a Senate district, that this is crap.
Yep.
It's hard to.
Another great point, Red. Yeah, you don't have time to address the false comments, and also, by the way, that takes a lot of money
Right.
when you're dealing with a Senate. And I don't know what distribution list they use, so I wouldn't be able to maybe even hit all the same people. So it's an uphill battle to try to beat it. But you're looking at $28,000 to do a mailer.
And you're right.
And when
Without knowing the list, Tim, you can't replicate that list. You can't get it to the same people who
well,
read it, who believe the crap.
not to mention
Yeah.
that, but the candidate didn't have to pay for that, but Tim would have had to pay for it. So therefore, when you
Another
have
great
dark
point.
money paying for it, yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
that's
bottomless pit.
another great point. So he gets help. Dan Fine, since you're using this as an example, because it's a really good one, he gets a help from Stronger Wisconsin Funds to do the hit pieces. Then he turns around and uses some of his campaign money to put out the conservative NRA backed and all this other crap to make it look like, well, I'm bad and he's good. And so he got a double whammy out of it. So he got major help with the hit piece stuff. Yeah, it works.
Absolutely.
So in 2024 we had the Stronger Wisconsin Fund
Yeah.
who was
But
doing it.
they're no longer around.
They're not around anymore, Red,
Isn't
right?
that pretty cool? They're
to-
not around.
Yes, well, yes, they are.
Oh, but yes, they are.
a new name, right, Tim?
Thank you. That's it. That's
Yep.
it. It's still the same thing. It's just a different name.
Right now it's Wisconsinites for Liberty, and they make it sound so nice. Wisconsinites for Liberty. And lo and behold, some of the same people who sat on the board for the Stronger Wisconsin Fund, including, and folks, if you're not in Wisconsin, if you're in Wisconsin, you'll know the name John Gard. He was former Speaker of the Assembly. I think Robin Boss's predecessor, Tim, could maybe confirm that for me, but he served at least a term as the Speaker of the Assembly. And
Jeff Fitzgerald ran one term before Voss, so I think Gard was before Jeff Fitzgerald. But he
okay,
was in
so John Gard left the state legislature and became a lobbyist. He's a registered lobbyist in the state of Wisconsin.
All right, what's going on?
I don't know.
Keep going.
He's a registered lobbyist in the state of Wisconsin, and John Gard's wife, she goes by two names, Kate or Kathy.
Yeah, just kind of depends on what day she wants to go by what.
Had a role in the Stronger Wisconsin Fund, and lo and behold, with its new name, Wisconsinites for Liberty, she serves in the same role.
Right.
For Wisconsinites for Liberty, and that so.
Heck.
We're getting some feedback, so we apologize, folks. I hope you're not hearing it. I hope it's just blowing up our heads. But
hope so.
in any event, Wisconsinites for Liberty surfaced this year.
Right.
And had the opportunity we learned some things. So in Senate District 1 in Wisconsin, in this election cycle, we have 4 candidates.
Were you able to get the audio?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so. We're going to try it, Red.
Okay.
We've got 4 candidates, and there was a candidate forum this week
On
for
Monday.
Senate District 1, and all 4 candidates participated.
Yes, and I will say, Monday night when we got, well, Monday afternoon in Wisconsin, if you're not aware, and please hold the people of Menasha and
Oh,
Oshkosh, hold them in your prayers because they were hit by, they determined it was a F3,
EF3.
EF3, sorry, tornado. And we've seen the destruction, not firsthand, but, videos and stuff, and it is horrible. And one of the candidates was he got there just in time, but he had to ice his hand right away because he actually went over to Menasha to try to help clear up debris. It's not his district, but he's like he said, it's the right thing to do.
And
That's
and
a human thing to do.
and Red, in our haste to walk in the door, that should have been the first thing we addressed, because there are groups, people that we worked with in the past and people we know very well,
Yep.
Helping Hands Disaster Relief, and
Yep.
people like Leslie and Chris, they're
Yep.
pulling
And JJ.
resources together for donations and help on the ground. So
Yep. And
uh,
JJ's actually bringing his excavator down there and dump trucks and everything you can
any
think of that he has
anyway, you
to
got
help.
you got us
So
off
I
topic, but
apologize for that.
that
But
should have been. Please hold these people in your prayers. People have lost their homes, and in fact,
oh my gosh, looking
my
at
my
that.
grandparents' home that I remember going and visiting grandma and grandpa was destroyed
Yep, it's
in
gone.
that tornado, and that was not owned by a family member any longer. But a piece of my history is gone. Uh,
But
but prayers for
but
the people of Menasha.
my one point that I'm making here though is one of these candidates, it's not, like I said, it's not his district, but he wanted to go over there and help because it's the right thing to do. And that's Jacob Vanderplas. And then two of the other candidates, one was late. Actually I was on the phone when she pulled up, and it turned out that the two candidates were at Shay Sortwell's birthday party.
Birthday fundraiser.
Fundraiser, sorry.
It was a
Birthday
fundraiser.
fundraiser.
And
And then
all the big shots were there, and they said that Congressman Grothman
mhm.
ran on with his speech, and they couldn't leave until he had finished it, and that's why they were late. But
But then
it
you have the fourth candidate. And this is the one that I want to talk about after the video. You have the fourth candidate where the forum was being held was in her like right across the street from their county office, and she's taken a step back so she can campaign, but Barb Bittner is the chair of Calumet County Republican Party. And like I said, she's taken a temporary leave so she can run her campaign. So she was getting everything set up for the forum. So you have two people that are working their butts off all day, one in the disaster area, one getting the forum ready, and then you have the two others that are, I don't even know, I think it was Green Bay, she said.
but
Either way, they were just rubbing elbows and didn't give a
but
hoot about anything.
we want to talk specifically about Katie Bainey, and
Yes.
I'm not going to hide saying her name,
No, absolutely not.
because we learned that Katie Bainey's campaign, and there's some real alarming things, folks. The Wisconsinites for Liberty has come out, and they've invested
80.
almost $86,000
Yep.
in her Senate campaign
Mm-hmm.
to date.
Yep.
And it's this time, last time the attacks under the Wisconsin or the Stronger Wisconsin Fund, they attacked a lot of candidates.
Right.
This time it's primarily 4,
Yes.
including Steve Rzuski.
Exactly.
So there are 3 assembly seats, I believe, that where they're attacking or protecting, trying to protect the incumbent. Scott Harbridge is one of them.
I was just gonna say
so
that.
so the Wisconsinites for Liberty is kind of doing some work for Chance Green.
Yep.
Born in the 37th, and I
Which
forget
is Steve Rzuski's
and
opponent.
I forget the 4th one all the time. But $86,000
Just in one campaign, not all
in
those.
in
This is just for Katie Bainey.
in Katie Bainey's. So we went to the forum, and
We were able to ask questions.
I wanted to find out. I wanted to put it out there. I wanted the people of the first Senate district to understand that there was dark money flowing into this district that could impact the outcome of that campaign or
Absolutely.
that
That
race.
race.
And
And if you want to get the audio ready, it's about a 13-minute audio clip. But um, Screech Owl Scott, luckily, was the very first question that got asked. So he kind of, in my opinion, set the tone for the rest of the questions for the most part. And for the candidates to, you don't have it up yet.
I know, Red.
For the, at least 2 other candidates to kind of tell us she's
Everybody
lying.
hear me all right? Awesome. My first question is for Katie, with a second follow-up question for all of you. In 2024, the Stronger Wisconsin Fund put out hit pieces on conservative candidates who challenged established preferred candidates. The Stronger Wisconsin Fund no longer exists. However, it's been replaced by the Wisconsin Knights for Liberty, which has direct connections to former Speaker and now registered lobbyist John Gard and his wife Kate or Kathy Zuski. Wisconsin Knights for Liberty has spent roughly $86,000 on your campaign. Lobbyists who financially support campaigns do so for favors. Those of us in this room are not special interests. The expectations that we have is that people we elect will represent our daily needs. Given the large amount of money that lobbyists have poured into your campaign, how can we feel assured on election day that you will represent us in Madison and not be beholden to the lobbyists? And my second question for all of you when Katie is done is, do you know who Harry Wade is, and can you tell me anything about him? Thank you.
All right, thank you for the question. And I'm grateful you asked it, and I'm grateful to talk a little bit about it, because first and foremost, I'm accountable to God, I'm accountable to my family, and I'm accountable to all of you if you elect me as your next senator. I am not privy, nor do I have any control over what outside groups do or don't do on my behalf, because I legally can't. I have no notion of what they do or don't do. But here's what I can promise you: is I believe that trust is earned based on actions and based on what people say and how and if they prove to be correct. And what I can promise you, again, I'm not beholden to any one special interest. I'm not beholden to that group. I'm not familiar with them. I didn't ask for their endorsement, nor did I ask for their sending. Again, as candidates, we can't coordinate. We have no notion of what they're going to do or not do. But I can promise.
Now, I'm seeing some comments saying that the audio's hard. I apologize, but we were in the back of the room, and I was trying my hardest to get it. The microphone wasn't the best. But what you may have not heard was Katie Bainey saying she's not familiar with that group that Screech had asked the question about. So if you want to keep going.
And she will go on, and I'm going to try and keep this put this in a nutshell for you. She will say that she didn't know that John Gard was a lobbyist. She didn't know that John Gard's wife, who she claims is a friend,
Yep.
she didn't know that she had ties to the Wisconsinites for Liberty. I mean,
Or a lobbyist.
she said
And
this.
she just met him.
Yes, and she just met John Gard.
But she's known Katie for years.
We'll play it on, and again, we
Kathy.
apologize for the volume. So
That no one tells me what to do. You can ask my husband. No one tells me what to do. And I'm not going to be beholden to any lobbyist when I'm down in Madison. I am running to fight for the families of Wisconsin. That's why I'm running. I'm running because of the mom who came literally dashing out of her house as I walked up her driveway and gave me a hug and said, "Thank you so much for talking about medical freedom and informed consent, because my child was vaccine injured." That's why I'm running. I'm running for the mom friend of mine who's 11-year-old is being pressured at school to choose her sexuality at 11. That's why I'm running. It is for Wisconsin families. It's to fight for a better future for the state, for your kids and for mine. And I'm not going to be beholden to any Madison special interest. I'm going to be
answer like the first one too, or just
No,
the second?
my first question was for Steve. The second question is, you know who Harry Wade is, and can you tell me anything about him?
Yeah.
Yep, first up is Jacob Vanderplat.
I followed my story for quite a while, and I got the opportunity to shake your man's hand at the state convention, at the pizza convention. Absolutely. That was very bold of you, truly.
Hey, Jake, would you mind, since you're the first one talking, I don't think everybody in the room knows who Harry Wade is, so would you be willing to just give us maybe a brief 2 or 3 minute overview of that situation?
We were hoping that each candidate would answer yes or no and briefly describe how they know about Harry. But the moderator, as you just heard, kind of goofed that up for us because they were like wanting to know so they could explain it to the room, which in my opinion should have been done at the end or let the candidates explain it as we went along. But it didn't turn out that way.
Or you want to do that, Mark?
Harry Wade was the individual that essentially registered and got the absentee ballots under somebody else's name to prove that our voting system can be hacked. And they ended up with probation on it. He received collected the ballots, they gave him the mail, and he turned them into the sheriff's department and said, look, this is how fragile our electoral system is. And he got punished for it.
I was just at the Manitowoc Patriots meeting, and I saw Braden Myers, I think, back there, and we actually had this conversation, and I'm sure we'll get into, I think, Braden, you're hosting it, right, for an event?
Next month.
What is it?
Next month.
Next month. So Braden is hosting an event with him next month. You guys can check out Manitowoc County.
And so I'm going to fast forward through Katie. She clearly knew nothing about Harry Wade until she attended a county patriot meeting a week ago.
Yep.
That's when she learned about Harry Wade.
Yep.
Patriots for that event. I'm sure we'll talk about election integrity tonight. I think he was brave in what he did to prove a point, right? That if we don't have secure elections, then really, what's the point? It's sort of the underpinning of everything that we're going to discuss tonight. And so I think you pointed out a very clear flaw. There are many flaws, though, in our current election process, and I'm sure we'll get into more details tonight. But I certainly think he's brave for what he did. So yes, I'm very familiar with Harry Wade. And just for everybody's information, so Harry Wade went onto the myvote.gov system, and he wanted to prove a point that anyone can go on there with information and request an absentee ballot in someone else's name. So he did that, and I think he did it in the names of Rob Goss, and I can't remember the other individual.
Corey Mason.
Was it?
Corey Mason.
Corey Mason.
And
The
Mark,
sheriff oversees, correct.
Mark, those are both Republicans, correct?
No.
Robbie Goss is, he's the speaker of the assembly.
Corey Mason is the Democrat.
Okay. So he ordered these ballots as they arrived at his home. He immediately notified both parties and took the ballots and turned them in. His intention was never to complete these absentee ballots and fraudulently vote with someone else's name. His intention was to show the breakdown of the myvote.com system and how it allows for individuals to go out and request ballots on behalf of someone else and have them delivered to their home. So Harry Wade was fighting for election integrity, but what happened to Harry Wade is he was victimized. He was victimized for trying to show fraud. And so they took him to court. I can't remember how long the court hearing went on, but he was about to be sentenced for 7 years for this. He eventually, they provided leniency. He had a stroke. He was 70 years old, and so they did give him probation. But I think this is important because we do need to talk about election integrity. There's a lot of different things that can happen. We need to talk about, for example, do we continue on with same-day registration? I believe we should have paper ballots. I think we have to have a tighter chain of custody of these ballots. We need to do away with mail-in ballots, right? And we really need to get back to the absentee ballots that are there for our military members that are overseas, the truly infirm or disabled who cannot go out vote. But this should be something that everybody
can go online and order up. So I'll let Nick take over from here.
Good job, thank you. Great explanation. So I'm not going to sit here and repeat what they just talked about with Gary. I'm aware of the story, the situation, so without sounding like a broken record. I do want to go back to that initial question that the gentleman with the...
This is where it gets interesting.
But-
This is
You know, I don't care if he had to repeat himself or not. To me, it didn't sound like he knew who Harry was. But that's my opinion, and that's what I took out of that part.
but
Because
you're gonna enjoy what comes next because
Yes.
he took my initial question and
And
took it
went
a
a
step
step
further
further.
and went on the attack against Katie Bainey for her knowledge about John Gard.
And like I said, because of Screech Owl Scott's question being the first one of the night, this is why I said it kind of set the pace for the rest of the night.
Especially for Katie.
Yes.
She did not like that. She claimed she appreciated the question,
Yep.
but I don't think
I don't
she
think
did.
she did.
How I got what you had asked initially. And I just want to say that if you look at the candidates' finance reports, you can see who we're supported by. You can see who is donating to our campaigns, it's public information. So go take a look and see. Right. And I don't know how many of you actually in the room have done that, but if you look at the finance reports, you can see are we being supported by people within the district, outside the district, and who it is exactly.
So, real quick, I actually looked at Katie Bainey's financials right before we left. I did not get through all pages, but I seen a ton of money coming from Florida, Texas, California, Colorado, Virginia, DC,
Out of state.
out of. Glad that he brought it up and put it that way because, yeah, we can look and see who's all in Wisconsin donating versus what you see on Katie's.
So, what Katie had alluded to, of saying that we have no control of what a third party is going to do. That is true. She is accurate on that. We can't control what third parties do. However, when the gentleman that is funding the Wisconsin Knights for Liberty, that's what it's called, correct? When the gentleman that's funding that, John Gard, is a heavy funder in there, and is driving the parade vehicle on the Brussels Belgian Days parade with his wife. I mean, there's definitely something going on there. You can't say that you don't have any control over what third parties are doing for you.
So if you didn't hear what he just said, and there may be a complaint filed on here with the Ethics Commission because we have a registered lobbyist who is driving a parade vehicle for Katie Bainey in the Belgium-Brussels
Parade.
And
Yep, and his wife.
and there are photos to back
Katie.
this up, folks, and I've seen the photos.
Yep.
So there may be a complaint coming with the Ethics Commission because, again, we've got a registered lobbyist working directly with a campaign, and we're trying to find out. There are people trying to find out if that's kosher, if that's allowed,
Ethical.
and
Allowed.
but he called her out,
Yes.
and
Yep. And he's not the only one.
I'll leave it at that.
So I'm happy to address this again. You know, I hadn't met him before this campaign. This is the first time that I've ever met him, but I knew him before I ran for office. She and I were part of a local women's group in Green Bay. So she and I had met before. I remember the past 2 or 3 years. But this is the first time I met him in this campaign. And we had multiple parades that day. It's all known we've been running around to multiple events at a time. And she offered to come to the parade and to drive her vehicle because she happened to live near Brussels. And so that's how that ended up happening. And again, if you want to accuse me of knowing about it, I'm going to reiterate that I have no notion of it, nor do I even know if they're involved in that path. Again, we've never had the conversation. We never talked about it. And I'm really proud of the coalition support that you built in my campaign. Because that's what you need to do. As an effective legislator, you need to build a supporting the candidates. I'm the only candidate up here who's been endorsed by Charging Point Action, by the conservative grassroots organization the Charlie Bird Bill. I'm the only candidate up here who's endorsed by the NRA, because I've spent the past 5 years advocating and defending the Second Amendment and our fundamental right to self-defense. I'm also the only candidate up here who's been endorsed by Stand for Health Freedom. Yeah, because I support medical freedom and informed consent, and I plan on being a massive advocate for that in the state legislature. So again, I don't know how much more we need to talk about this, but again, I'm happy to have a conversation with any of you out there if you have questions. Please,
Respectfully, before I shut up, the only endorsement that really matters are the people that are sitting in this building.
So does Barb want to speak on this, and then, okay, let's keep this brief so we can move on. This is important to dig into it, I want to dig into it, but I also don't want to see the whole thing.
Yeah, I'll be short and sweet. When we started the fundraising campaign, probably related to a skit many years ago that says NASCAR driver, politicians should wear jackets like NASCAR drivers, so we can see exactly who's sponsored. So we took that philosophy and have a white t-shirt. For a $10 donation, you can sign my t-shirt. I got it in the car, didn't wear it tonight, because I didn't want to get people to bar and change on it, but I do have it with, so if you'd like to sign my shirt, I am supportive, but I have no patent. I am here directly for people.
Just real quick, I want to let everybody know that when I announced my campaign that I was going to be running for this, a representative from the state of Wisconsin called me and told me I needed to call John Gard. And I asked him, why do I need to call John Gard? I know who John Gard is. John Gard's a lobbyist. He's a lobbyist who repeatedly attacked Senator Andre Jacques in campaigns and fought to keep him out of the Senate. I can tell you one thing, John Gard and his wife have never driven me or handed out my literature in a parade, nor will they ever.
So that's the end, and I apologize for the quality of that video.
Yeah,
Again,
because I was at the back of the
we were in the
room.
rear of the room. The audio wasn't great to begin with, but I think a couple points that we have to make
And I
here.
dropped my phone, so.
Barb Bittner, one of the candidates, at the end, she said, John, now, this is the point I want to make clear, because we're going to play something else, because, folks, it doesn't end here.
No, it doesn't.
Barb said,
Especially with Barb.
I had been contacted by a standing assembly representative who said, when I announced my candidacy, you have to reach out to John Gard. And Barb Bittner said, why do I have to reach out to John Gard? I know who he is. I know he's a lobbyist. I'm not reaching out to him.
Right.
Nor will he ever walk in a parade for me and hand out literature at my parade. He or his wife.
Has he
is
or
what
will.
she said.
Yep.
And that representative is the subject of another video that we're going to play, because, folks, this got a whole lot deeper today.
And mind you, it's only Wednesday. This happened. The audio just listened to happened on Monday night.
And so this is really evolving into something much different.
Yep, very quick.
So yesterday it was revealed that this same representative who said you need to talk to John Gard came out like last week. He came out and endorsed Katie Bainey for this position. Right. And so, folks, what I'm going to tell you is that
no, I don't even want to say to be fair, because I'm not going to be fair. He is not the one that put it out publicly, but he did give it to somebody that would put it out publicly.
I'm not sure who made it public, but this was in text form. Representative Tussler reached out to Regular Joe, and everybody who's listening to my show is familiar with Regular Joe.
So the person that I seen put it out there, and what I was told is the one that put it out there is Dan Digner, and he is the president of Wisconsin Family Action.
So anyway, what we're being told is that Representative Tussler reached out to Regular Joe, who's got a huge media presence in conservative talk radio. You really have to look into Barb Bittner. You don't want to support her.
It says, "Hi, Joe, Ron Tussler." Barb Bittner is living with another man. Need him. Endorse Katie. She will be conservative.
So this is the
That
text
is the text that was sent.
sent to regular Joe. And
Regular Joe decided, I'm going to do my due diligence and I'm going to call up Barb Bittner and ask her about it.
so
That's what you should do.
I want to play what happened, what was released today,
Yes.
as a follow up to this text being shared, and then we'll open it up to see, because I want to know what other people think about what's coming, what's happening.
No, you need that one on.
No, I don't need that one. Oh, I need that one on.
Yeah, no, it's not on. There you go.
Everybody, it's really disappointing that I have to make this video, but a few days ago, Ron Tussler sent a text message to radio show host Joe Gigante containing a false statement about my personal life and encouraging him to endorse one of my opponents. That statement was simply not true. The problem with lies is that they don't just affect the person that's being lied about. They affect their family, their friends, and other people who get pulled into something they have nothing to do with. When I found out about the text, I didn't run to social media. I handled it privately through my attorney because I hoped it would be resolved the right way. Instead, it's now become public. All I was asking for was Ron Tussler to take responsibility for his actions, to apologize to me, to apologize to Joe Gigante, and to the others who were unnecessarily drawn into this situation, and to correct the false statement. For the sake of transparency, I am including the correspondence in the comment section below. I have redacted one individual's name out of respect for his privacy. You know, this campaign is about lowering taxes, stopping the liberal agenda, and bringing opportunity for businesses and families in northeastern Wisconsin. The August election is coming up fast, and I'd be honored to earn your vote. If you believe in honesty, integrity, and focusing on the issues instead of personal attacks, I'd appreciate your support.
So, folks, that was Barb Bittner addressing what has now become public. And before we open it up for any discussion or anything that anybody wants to say, here's what I want to say. You know, we've been talking about election integrity for 6 damn years.
Yep.
6 damn years, and nothing has been done to address it. None of the people, none of the representatives. The only one, the champion for election integrity, and I'll give Janelle some.
Well, yeah, but
some credit here too. But the one man,
the one and only man,
Tim Rampton, is the guy that was fighting for election integrity from 2020 on.
Day one.
And they hammered on him in 2024. They came at him with the Stronger Wisconsin Fund, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick. And every time we turn around, and now people want to tell us, Red, you and Screech
you need to stop dividing the party.
All you're doing is dividing the party. You're trying to put down Republicans. Let's settle what's going on in our own party, and then we can worry about beating Democrats.
See, what their problem is, in my opinion, is they think that we're dividing, and that if that divides the party, then I don't.
Assembly representative putting following.
Yep.
And putting crap out. And you want to call me the divider?
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
You can kiss me where the sun doesn't shine right now, because
but
I'll tell you what,
I have to give Joe Gigante huge props, because he did the thing that we just talked about earlier in the show. He did his due diligence, and he called Barb. He didn't just take it at face value.
Absolutely.
Because he's awake and he knows.
And what did that do for Barb? He went to Barb.
Well,
and
you know what it
really
does?
happened? It went to an endorsement.
It
from
got
regular
him
Joe.
It got her an
and I'll tell you,
endorsement.
that endorsement never hurts anybody coming from regular Joe.
Absolutely.
But I am sick of being called the divider, Red. I am sick and tired of it. When this kind of crap continues to happen,
what they
every
want
election
is,
cycle,
they want us to sit down, shut up, and not let the truth out. But you know what? I have my daughters and my son to think about. I have all my grandchildren to think about. You have your daughters and your sons to think about, and your grandchildren to think about, and everybody listening that we have been fighting for the last 6 years. We are fighting for their kids and their grandkids, because if this doesn't come out and doesn't get fixed, what kind of future do they have? They don't.
And I don't see any hands, but if anybody wants to chime in on what's happening in the first Senate district with these 4 candidates and someone who's got ties to registered lobbyists, who are helping on her campaign and also funneling money in, and the hit pieces are coming. You know, they funneling money in, and the hit pieces are coming. You know,
race, but other races as well.
Scott
Like,
Harvard, you'll see one because
yep.
they're going to
And you
support
know
Change
what?
Green.
I noticed Scott Harvard actually came out today, and I can't remember exactly what his post said, but he came out ahead of it and said, just beware, it's coming because I've been told it's coming and I've heard it's coming. So he's trying to get out ahead of it, but how many people are on social media and are going to see it?
We've got cease and desist letters being.
So the video that you just saw with Barb Bittner, it was in response to the post that was put out by the gentleman I mentioned earlier, saying that she contacted her attorney for a cease and desist letter.
To stop the line.
And if Mr. Ron Tussler does not come out and apologize and make it right with everybody that he has told that lie to, tomorrow is Thursday. If he doesn't answer by, I believe it was 6 o'clock or something, she's going back to her attorney and filing a defamation lawsuit. And good for you, Barb.
And we've got Tim Rampton with his hand up. Go ahead, Tim.
This is a difficult topic to speak to because I've been on the receiving end of the injustice of these types of behaviors, and it does bother me a lot too. Because Scott, you did mention earlier, we've been dealing with this problem with election integrity for 6 years, and nothing tangible has gotten done. Why? Because it's at the personnel level. We can talk about the mechanics with the ballots and the chain of custody and the voter lists and even my vote, but what changes that? It's people, and when you have the wrong people in these seats, they continue to kick cans down the road. They continue to deflect and deny and attack to try to squelch the messengers. And I appreciate uh, Barb going after Tussler, and I hope she does do the defamation. It's actions like that, and to Red's earlier comments, the people got to stop believing this crap that they're getting stuffed down their throats through the mailbox and otherwise. There's a reason for it, and until they stop allowing themselves to be used and taken advantage of and laughed at by the establishment, because the establishment knows, oh, people are too stupid to figure it out. They're going to do what we tell them to do again. And the puppets are kept in the seats, and the status quo continues. And the quid pro quo goes right along with it, which is the influence factors of favor and funding that keep the grifters compliant. So it's a psychological thing. It's a physical mechanics thing. And a majority of the responsibility to fix it falls on the electorate. The people have to stop allowing themselves to be used. And I would suggest that there's a challenge to any incumbent, both sides of the aisle. Please vote for the challenger, because we're never going to remove the learned behavior from an environment that's very well trained on how to manipulate information to get a result that they want. And they've been playing it on the society for decades. It's been really bad the last dozen years, half dozen years specifically. And it got outed in 2020, which is why election integrity is again the number one thing going on in our state. Washington County just had their county fair last week, Wednesday through Sunday. And every day they did a straw poll with the people who would stop and talk to the individuals at the booth. What are your priority issues? The number one element of concern in Washington County, 5-1 over the second place item, which I don't even care. Maybe it was affordability or something, was election integrity. So it's still a big deal. It's still number one. And the name calling's got to stop. The finger points got to stop. The manipulations in elections processes got to stop. We got to get patriots in the seat to get things done. Otherwise, we're going to continue to just yell about it and nothing's going to change. And I'm getting real tired of that too. I'm
Well,
out.
it's funny that you mentioned straw polls because I know up in Polk County at their fair at the Republican Party booth, the chair stood in front of the straw poll table And when they seen that they were going to put their vote in the wrong jar, and I don't want to say wrong as, and I'm putting air quotes up, wrong, because it doesn't matter who they put it in. That's up to the person. That's how voting is supposed to be. But instead of allowing him to put the vote in that jar, he quick stopped him and was like trying
Because
to sway him over to the
the established
endorsed candidate.
the RPW endorsed candidate. It's crazy what
And the
is
person
happening.
ended up
And
not voting at all.
and folks, we're running
So
a
you're
little bit
fixing
long.
it at a county fair, for crying out loud.
We're running a little long, and I hope that if you're listening on YouTube or Rumble and you have something you want to add to the conversation, jump into the backstage.
The
These
links
folks,
are in the chat.
these folks are going to
Or,
be talking about this for a while. I know we will be, and because there's a lot of anger, and you may have sensed my anger, and my anger stems from the fact that people point the fingers at us, Red, and they
Yep.
tell us stop with the dividing, and I keep coming back to how can we stop the dividing when it's really not us. I mean, we're looking to, we want open, transparent. We want
honest
honesty, and we're not seeing it
no.
by things like Representative Tussler did.
You know, and they keep asking us, well, why don't you go after the Democrats as much as you go after the Republicans? Well, you know what? You don't give us a chance to. Why don't you fix it? And then we will go after the Democrats. But you know what? You got to fix your backyard first.
And Red, I'm going to say this, and this is one they're going to come at me for this one, but I want you to think about this one, folks. For the first time in a while, the Republicans don't really. I mean, Andy Mansky's in the race, right?
And this is exactly the reason why they wanted one person.
I know, but hear me out, Red.
Okay.
Okay, we've got Andy Mansky, and
Mhm.
like Tim just said, I would encourage you to go vote for Andy Mansky.
Yeah.
But
Well,
here's my concern,
Tim
and I want
technically didn't say go and vote for him.
I want you to think about this. I want you to think about what's going to happen.
Long and hard.
If Tom Tiffany wins, do not fall into the trap, because I know it's coming. If Tom Tiffany is elected governor in November, I know what's coming.
Oh yeah, we all know.
The RPW is going to be saying,
see, it worked.
We've got the blueprint for winning statewide races.
Absolutely.
We can't have challengers at the primary level. We have to go into this with a united, and that's how we win elections. And we folks talk about selection over election.
Yep.
If this happens and they determine that that's their blueprint for winning,
we'll never have another primary.
We're never going to have a choice again.
But you know what's really funny is those same exact people that tell us that this is the way we need to do it, for all the other statewide races that have challengers, they said, well, that's the reason why we have primaries. And I just want to go up and smack them in the face, because I'm thinking, you know what? What did you do, 3-4 months ago, when another person would have liked to have jumped in? But no, you wanted to make sure there was only one person in the race for governor, because you didn't want to have a challenge for the primary. But yet all these other races, oh, well, let it happen at the polls, August 11th, primary day. Well, why was that good for all the other statewide races versus the governor race?
And one more thing before we go, Red, that has really upset me, and you know, I've been on this horse for a couple months, because, and I'm not gonna say the name, but there's somebody from Turning Point who's out there saying, if you don't have a real contested race in your area, you should vote for Francesca Hong for governor, because Tom Tiffany can beat Francesca Hong. And now there's somebody else who's on that bandwagon.
Yes, and I said to that person last night, you know what? You dance with the devil and you're gonna get burned. And that's exactly
we have to be real
happening.
careful. But what really upsets me is not only are you potentially putting the most radical of their candidates into the general election,
you're admitted social, how does she word it?
Democratic socialist.
Yes, thank you.
But more importantly than that, anybody who votes for Francesca Hong in the primary to help push her across, you're hurting You're hurting people like Steve Rzuski. You're hurting people like, all the four
Jay
Senate
Schrader,
candidates.
Braden Meyer, Cindy Warner, which Cindy shouldn't be
Dave,
there in the
David
first place.
David Varnum.
David
You're
Varnum.
hurting all of these candidates
Yep.
who have given their life to running for these races, logging thousands and thousands of miles.
Oh, yeah.
And when you vote for just Francesca Hong because you think
just
that
took a vote away
because
from
she's the
those.
most beatable candidate, you're hurting all the other candidates who have just
Well,
worked their asses off.
And the person that said this last night, I was shocked because he actually came out and endorsed one of the candidates, and I won't say what race or anything, but he endorsed that candidate, and he's turning around saying, "Hey, yeah, let's go vote for her." And I'm like, wait a minute, what about the lieutenant governor race?
So he can't.
What about the
He
secretary of
can't
state
even vote.
race?
If he does that, he can't vote for the people that his group endorsed.
Right.
It makes no sense to
And
me. Stop the nonsense.
He said, well, David Varnum, he doesn't stand a chance. And the Secretary of State race is too crowded. That was his excuse. And I'm thinking, are you kidding?
Well,
If it's that crowded, that's the reason why we need your votes in those races.
Tim Rampton's going to have the last word tonight, Red. Go ahead, Tim.
What you're speaking about are acts of desperation. It's a reflection of weak character, and it's got us where we are today. They continue to try to manipulate the outcome of elections process because they can, and they get away with it because the people believe the crap. We have allowed for this to happen. We're all at fault. We all need to pull together to fix it. And removing individuals who create the grift is a key element to the solution. Thank you.
Thank you for your input, Tim. And I know Tim's not going to say it, but I'll say it. I don't know how you fix stupid. I don't know how you fix stupid, but we better figure out a way, Red. And maybe it's on all of us to help educate people and talk to your neighbors, talk to your family. It starts with that. Let's talk to people about it.
Well, and maybe this is not a fix to it, but I personally think it's going to end up burning to the ground because if these guys want to go over and vote for Francesca Hong, they're, like I said, you dance with the devil, you're going to get burned. And they're going to continue talking about jumping over, and then they end up losing that race. And then we're stuck with a Democrat socialist. And then what?
And then what?
Is that the way that we're going to fix stupid because you guys weren't smart enough to figure it out when we tried to tell you before? No, it probably won't fix it, but
I will
it's a thought.
I will say one thing, Red. Monday night, I don't know. Well, I know you know because you were part of it. You helped distribute the list. After I asked my question, the number of people that came up and said, "How do I find out who's donating to campaigns?" And we
Yes.
provided that
Yes.
website to a lot of people because
Yes.
that
They came up to you and asked.
when people started hearing $86,000 from lobby groups or
Mhm.
out of state money,
Yep.
it concerns people. And when they know about it and they understand it's happening, they want to know more.
And you know what? You just reminded me of one more thing about that Monday night. One question was asked, a very simple question. Who are you going to vote for in the primary? And of course, each candidate said themselves, except for one, and that would be Katie Bainey. Why? Because she admitted she doesn't even live in the district. But if she makes it through the primary, then she'll move to the district. In my opinion, what the HELL are you even in that race for when you don't even live there? Because you know damn well she's not going to pick up her big family and her small children and move into the district just because she won a primary.
Well, she's so concerned about the district that she lives in and wants fair representation, Red. But she won't challenge the Democrat who's sitting in her current district.
Right.
She won't wait a year to challenge him.
No, because
she'd rather move and try and take Andre's.
Because, like Tim says, it's the puppet push.
Yep, it's
they
the puppet
needed
push.
somebody that they could try to push over there because they knew that Barb Bittner was not gonna cater to their John Guards of the world.
Well, we're hoping to have Barb on one of these days because I'll tell you what, Barb is on fire right now, and I give her a ton of credit for standing up to this in the way that she has. So Barb, I tip my hat to you.
Absolutely.
Red, we are long tonight.
Yes.
We made it
Oh,
home
sorry.
we made it home just in time. We ran long, but that's okay. So very quickly, folks, on August 26th, we're gonna be on the road, Red. We're gonna be
Our first
live
live.
from the Manitowoc County Patriot meeting. Harry Waite bringing
Yes.
his story to Northeast Wisconsin, folks. If you have never met or heard Harry Waite speak, this is an opportunity if you live in Northeast Wisconsin to hear Harry tell his story from his
Yes.
mouth.
And show some of the proof that we did a show on a couple weeks ago.
And Harry won't hold back.
No,
If you know
he will
Harry,
not.
he will tell it like it is, and there's going to be a Q&A. We're going to be live. The show's going to start early, and it's
Yes.
probably going to go long. We will be there, and if you're listening virtually, you will have the opportunity to ask Harry some questions directly through us
Yep.
at the Manitowoc County Patriot meeting on August 26th. It's a America 250 potluck. So
It starts at 6 o'clock.
bring a can of beans or a bowl of potato salad
Or some chips and dip.
whatever. Bring or don't bring anything at all, because
And
you
just
and
show
I
up and eat.
you and I will bring something, and
Yes. We'll bring the show.
and you can be live.
Maybe you can bring your cupcakes.
We'll be live from the Holiday Inn on Calumet Avenue.
It's right off the
that's
freeway.
what's coming,
On the 26th of August.
folks. Find a candidate that needs some help. Steve Rzuski, Scott Harwich up north. Anybody that's facing a primary, one of these Senate candidates, they'll all accept the help.
Absolutely.
Maybe Katie Bainey won't, because she's got John Garden and his wife helping her campaign.
Well, they drive her in the parades. I'm
we
surprised she
got
even
a
did
hot
that.
mess, and we need to clean it up. And
And speaking of hot, they're not a mess by all means, but speaking of hot,
Liberty Summit,
don't forget the Liberty Summit. Tickets are on sale now.
mark your calendars.
And don't forget to get your hotel room. So September 25th and 26th. You can go to hotgovernment.com and you can see the Liberty Summit. You can click the links of whichever tickets you want to purchase. But trust me, you will want to get the VIP, which includes the keynote speaker at the end of the night and your dinner. Whereas the other ticket, you just get the afternoon and a box lunch. And trust me, last year's was amazing. The keynote speaker.
It was, and it's going to be a good time.
Oh,
September.
and guess what?
What?
Who is emceeing the Liberty Summit?
Well, I'm told I might know the person, but
Yeah, I'm going to say it because we're allowed to. Mr. Screech Owl Scott himself is going to be emceeing the Liberty Summit.
I will be emceeing the Liberty Summit, and I'm excited about it, and I've already got some fun things planned. You're not going to want to miss that.
Oh gosh, no! You gotta see. I mean, think of Hot Government has your video.
Okay, but don't give it
okay.
away, Red.
Okay, I won't say.
We want people to buy tickets to come and see for themselves. So
yeah.
Anyway, it's going to be a great night. September 25th and 26th. Mark your calendars. Reserve your hotel room.
Yep, I was going to say your hotel room.
And get your tickets.
And you can click the link for the hotel room on the same page on hotgovernment.com, so then you can get the group rate.
Absolutely. So it's going to be a good time, Red. What else do we have? Tomorrow, I don't know what we're going to do. We may or may not be in Ripon.
We might be in Ripon tomorrow. I don't know for sure yet.
And we won't be going to the event.
No.
But we'll be outside the event. Maybe get some feedback from some of the people, see what they're
that would be a good idea.
Thinking.
Feedback, because we know that your questions are not going to be answered by him anymore.
No,
because you've done it twice, and yeah, he doesn't like calling on you.
So in any event, we may or may not be coming live from Ripon. If it does, you'll see the Little White Schoolhouse behind us. The festivities will be long over by then, but we might be sitting on the sidewalk, Red, with the Little White Schoolhouse behind us.
And you'll be watching the sun go down, because it'll be dark out. Well, I don't know. You can have the camera on?
Yeah, we'll turn the camera on for a while so people can see the Little White Schoolhouse, Red.
There you go.
In any event, I don't think I have anything else. You, Red? If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, come on over, hop into the backstage and join the conversation.
And don't forget Friday, AJ with his Rippin' Rabbit Hole Live at 8 p.m. Central. Sunday, 10:30 in the morning, backstage only, 2 or more gathering.
Yes, that one is not broadcast, so
No.
you can feel free to come back. It's a little Bible study. We're in John right now, and
Yes, we're almost done with John.
it's a great way to have some fellowship with some. Oh, one of the puppies sneezed.
Scared me.
It's a good way to start your Sunday with a little fellowship and Bible study,
And it's amazing how it always relates to whatever's going on at that moment. It is truly amazing.
And please, we forgot to say it in the beginning, hold the people of Menasha in your prayers. There's a lot of people who had their lives turned upside down. So with that, Red, we're gonna stop wasting people's time
because we have a republic to save.
All right, have a good night, folks.
Flags wave in the static air. Freedom's crackling everywhere. Every voice matters, every voice dares.